Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai Bashem Rakakwadash Shalom to the 144,000 and rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, I don't know where I'm going to go with this. Anyway, this video's up by GMS Info Doc Channel 12. Hit the button, 4/13/2025, the hopeful year of the deliverance of the elect and the destruction of E-Man. So this is almost 12 minutes in. I pulled it back to the beginning, and they're doing a walk and talk. So I'm just gonna let it play, and then I'm see spirit jump on me. I'll stop and I'll say something. Maybe precept will come to mind. Let's see where this goes. Let's go.
We're just walking, about to go grab something
and talking.
Hit the button and see what the Spirit provides, and whatever precepts come up, whatever thoughts come up, pretty much, that we're gonna speak about. Cause there's a lot. You had something?
Yeah, I had a precept.
All right.
Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2:3. It says, "For the vision is yet."
Start at 1.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, that's heavy because I was just about to say there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, this is Habakkuk 3:1. Stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me.
And that's what the watchmen are supposed to do. They're supposed to watch. That's the job of a prophet. That's the job of a true, to constantly.
Not go to some damn Kenya. You get pissed thrown on
garbage, and I'm really pissed about that. I should come play in your fucking tires.
Hold up, who the hell is
and
that?
make sure
watch and report on the things that they see.
So that's what I'm saying.
What I should answer.
Who the hell is talking?
Man, because ruffle some feathers because you was in Cancun. Adonis, personally, bitch, I've been to Cancun 6 times or more.
I already know who it is. It's a hyena. Where you at? Let me X this out. Let's go.
So I haven't fixed the dents you put in my car, but whatever.
Okay.
So I'm mad. I take off. Now, mind you, at this point they only had one car, or they might have had 2 at the time. But Naya was drinking, so he just brought one car with him. I had my own car, so I left. They were arguing in the parking lot. And then I got a call from Naya. She's upset. She's screaming. She's like, he threw a beer at me, or the beer that I had, he threw it at me, or something like that. I'm not understanding, but she's telling me to come back and get her. There's a lot of yelling and screaming in the background. So I turn around and I get back to the parking lot, and in time to witness him pull her out of the car by her hair, fling her over to the side, and then toss Kyrie's car seat. That's the baby that she was pregnant with when they reconciled.
Bear me for a minute, y'all.
And, he was obviously with her at the time. And, kind of got back around and, got in this side of the driver's seat. The kids were in the car. He kept the older 2 kids that they have together in the car with him. Assad was there. He witnessed everything. And, I took her and brought her back with me to the Airbnb.
I found it. Okay, let me come back. Yeah, so this video was up. Came up in my... did it come in my... No, it didn't come in my notifications. It was in the thumbnail to the right. Masala, the wife of Gorilla, former wife, I guess. Gorilla Hebrew Speaks. Put up by Shah Ariala. So, like I said, I listened to some of that. That stuff is old news to me. He did what he did. He needs to repent or not. So, anyway, it's coming back over here. You bear with me for that. You like a lot of gossipy stuff. Not saying that she's gossiping, she's just telling her side of the story. Okay, so let's play this.
When I am reproved.
Right, and what I shall answer when I am reproved, because we have to give account of, the information that we've been entrusted with. Remember, the Apostle Paul said, that we've been, entrusted with this knowledge in earthen vessels.
Yeah. So if we claim to be a prophet, you got to do the work of a prophet. You got to be consistent with this. There's sometimes you don't know what you don't have well, you gotta. You know what? When I say I don't have a topic, I'm gonna go with the Spirit. I got a bunch of topics in my head, but I can't figure out which one to go into. There's always a topic. I was going through my list, I got a bunch of lists. I got some lists that I put together maybe 10 years ago. You can see by the paper, the oldness of the paper. The white paper turns kind of a yellowish, dingy, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, oh wow, I don't remember doing, But anyway, I can always do that, which sometimes it's you in your mind. It's like not spiritual because you're reading notes. No, it is spiritual because the Spirit's going to lead you. If you put down 25 precepts on a particular subject, I wrote it down. I'm not going to say nothing on it. I'm just going to have it on my list. When you bring that, if it's 20 scriptures, guaranteed, by the time you do that show, whether it be an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're going to hit a whole lot of scriptures that's not even on that list. You might even hit 1 or 2 scriptures that's on the list, but another bunch of scriptures will come up. Then you might go back to the list. So the list is just a starting point. Anyway, and you get into that. Make lists. If you don't know what to say, the Spirit ain't on me, you got to go to the list. Oh, yeah, let me do this. Somebody asked me about this question. I could have gave him a straight answer. Or let me just go into this list, which is a whole topic, and answers his questions and then some. So let's listen. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have this treasure in earthen vessels. It's like we're stewards of the Most High's business. It says...
and the steward, when you go back to the word steward, it goes back to the word oikonomia, which goes back to the word economy.
Yeah, manager. Paul was a manager. The 12 were managers. A camp leader is a manager.
Which means house management. So house management needs money, needs currency. What is the currency? The currency is this word that was given to us.
Buy the truth and sell it not.
By Yahweh Bashem Yahushua through the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, freely, and it was given to us abundantly, and that's why, we have to continuously trade and keep the, upkeep of this house, being the house of David, the tabernacle of David.
Yep, it says, verse 2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables.
Right, and the Lord said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. And that's what, the prophets did in the past, and now the prophets are back breaking down these different, prophecies that at one point were a mystery that most people didn't understand, because when you go...
So we got to be the prophets because we're breaking down this book like nobody on the planet. And even if you break it down to people that are not of the elect or not prophets, they're going to forget. It's like going to Matthew 25, the 10 virgins, 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. The ones that had oil, that had extra oil, they all had oil. The 5 wise had extra oil, and those are the prophets. Ain't nobody breaking down Revelation 12 like we breaking it down. And when I say we, I'm talking about the former One Westers, because IUIC, UPK, and others, Sakari came from GMS, all break it down the same. There's a few certain things. All of us teach about 90 to 95%. We all teach the same thing. It's that last 5 to 10% that, like for example, the MOTB. The MOTB will take place, and it will be what we said it's going to be, pursuant through the Spirit. The Spirit's working with us 100%. That's why we're not in Kenya getting piss and rocks thrown on us and tear gas. Because if we listening to Nate, he was going in on GMS and ICPK. He going in on us,
So during the time of the Roman Empire, during the time of the Holy Roman Empire, during the time of the Byzantine Empire, during the time of the Renaissance, even during the time of when the conquistadors first got here, and the first slaves, Southern Kingdom slaves were brought here to the shore,
which is a fulfillment of prophecy. The reason why when Christopher Columbus came over here, you got to go into Revelation 20, one of my favorite prophetic breakdowns. He encountered the Israelites, and them Edomites, when they were coming over from Europe, they were saying, "These are Israelites. These are the Israelites." Some of them even knew that this is the fulfillment of the Northern Kingdom, because the question is, where did the Northern Kingdom go to? Let's do this. Let me bring this over here. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me open up another. Where are we? Let's go to the Apocrypha. And I was going through this the other day. Whatever happened to the Northern Kingdom of Israel? The Northern Kingdom of Israel, also known as Samaria, was conquered by the Neo-Assyrian Empire in 722 to 721 BCE, before the Common Era. Following the conquest, many of its people were deported to Assyria, and some fled to the kingdom of Judah, which is true. This event led to the dispersal of the 10 tribes of the Northern Kingdom, who became known as the Lost Tribes. Note, the Lost Tribes were the tribes in Matthew 10. Yahushua said, "Go to the Lost Tribes of Israel." He's talking about the Israelites who are already in the land. Had nothing to do with the Northern Kingdom. Did not answer my question. Which nation destroyed the Northern Kingdom? Where is the Northern Kingdom of Israel today? Let's see what they say. AI overview. The territory of the Northern Kingdom of Israel, also known as the Kingdom of Samaria, primarily encompasses the area of modern day Samaria and Galilee and I want to know what happened to the people. Where did the northern tribes of Israel go? AI overview. The 10 northern tribes of Israel, known as the 10 lost tribes, were exiled by the Assyrian kingdom, departed to various regions within the Assyrian Empire, particularly to Hala by the Harbor River of Gozan, and to the cities of the Medes, which are believed to be located in modern-day Syria and Iraq. Some theorize they spread further east into the Middle East and beyond. Then nothing about the West. So how did the Indian people, the indigenous people, get over here? Where did they come from? Why is the tribe of Dan not listed in Revelation? They're not listed in Revelation because Nate said he don't want it listed in Revelation because he knows who the tribe is. Nate knows who the tribe of Dan is, and half of the Benjaminites are actually Danites, according to Nate the Great. Oh, what tribe is Jesus from? The tribe of Judah. Let me see. This is based on genealogies presented in the New Testament, Matthew 1, especially through his earthly father, Joseph. Oh, they're telling you that he come from the line of Joseph, and his mother Mary, While Joseph's lineage is through the tribe of Judah, some interpretations also suggest Mary's lineage may have been from the tribe. But no, where did you get that from, dummies? Mary from the tribe of Judah. All you got to do is go to Luke chapter 3. Heli, the father of Mary, the father-in-law of Joseph, Yahweh, further connected him to the tribe of Judah. So okay, so she was Ephraim. He came out of Judah, so he came out of the seed from the seed of his father. They're not. If you notice, then you know what I'm gonna do. Let me do this. Did the northern kingdom of Israel go to the Americas? According to the Bible, Assyrians 8th century BCE exiled 10 of the original 12 tribes from their land in the northern kingdom. And many prominent Americans, such as William Penn and Elias Boudinot, believe that they ended up in America. And they are both right. These two Edomites are both right. Just come on back.
Of America, to the so-called Declaration of Independence and all that. Nobody knew these mysteries. Nobody was talking about Revelation and the breakdown of the MOTB and none of that stuff. And if they did speak about it,
none of these other Israelites, they're not prophets. There's no prophets among the Yah Israelites. There's no prophets among the black Israelite only. The only true prophets came out of One West.
Didn't have the understanding of what it was. They were just given, an interpretation based off of what they might have thought it was in those times, and this is why you have individuals, you have like Edomites that would be on the public access years ago, in Connecticut, talking about there's going to be real actual locusts, giant locusts flying around and all this madness because they didn't have the mysteries.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it says that he may run that readeth it. Mm-hmm. It says for the vision,
right, that he may run that readeth it. So either you're going to run, to safety, or you're going to run away from it. You're going to either run.
Actually, when you run, the prophet gets it, he runs with it. You pass a message on. And that goes, you know what I just thought of? I got to read that in. So this brother right here is going off. No, just joking. But anyway, slightly off. Now, what I just thought about is the Battle of Marathon. They won the Battle of Marathon. Let me go into that. The ancient Battle of Marathon. So let's read it. He that run that readeth it, right? It's the Battle of Marathon fought in 490 BC. Before they'll say BCE before the common areas, BC before Christ, was a decisive victory for the Athenians and their allies against a large Persian force during the first Persian invasion of Greece. You want to get more into it? Watch the movie. What's the movie? The 300. Gave you a kind of, and the guy King Leonidas actually existed, and he called the Athenians boy lovers. You guys were boy lovers too, and they were Israelites. The Sparta. They were boy lovers too. Them Israelites that were going the hell off. The battle took place in the plain of Marathon, north of Athens, and was a major turning point in the Greco-Persian wars, demonstrating that the Persians could be defeated. Let me see. I wanted the part where the guy said Nike. He was given a message. Okay, the Athenians, despite being outnumbered, achieved because it was Jake. The roughest Jake's out. Don't mess with a happy Jake, because they can fight too. A decisive victory, returning, routing out the Persian army. Let me see. I just wanted to get the part where he ran 26 miles. It was called the Battle of Marathon. In the battle, let me do this. In the ancient Babubu. In the Battle of Marathon, did somebody say Nike? Okay, yes, according to legend. Fi e dab p d des, the Athenian courier, right? That's when he said what he said, when the apostle said what he said about he that get it, receive it, run with it. That's the first thing that popped in my head. The Battle of Marathon. It says the Athenian courier who ran from Marathon to Athens, which is the distance is supposed to be 26, a little bit more than 26 miles. That's where you get the word marathon from. To announce the victory, famously shouted, Nike, meaning victory. So these sneakers that are Nikes, that the word is a Greek word meaning victory. Upon reaching the city, according to the Florida Times Union, he then collapsed and died from exhaustion. Because the pace was, he should have, it was a pace thing. I guess he tried to do it in an hour and a half and dropped dead. That's the old story. But anyway, let's go to Habakkuk 2. I'm sorry, I gotta do it in the NLT. Let me change that. NLT. I will climb upon my watchtower. That's what a warrior does. He's on a watchtower to see if the enemy's coming. They blow a certain trumpet and stand at my guard post. The prophets are standing at their guard posts when we go out there in the highways and byways. There I will wait to see what the Lord says and how he will answer my complaint. So the Lord's going to give you an order. He might say that I feel the enemy coming. You might say, no, the enemy's not coming. It's a group of allies that is coming. So it's like a little back and forth with the Lord, right? The Lord's second reply. Then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets, so that a runner, a courier, can carry the correct message to others. So like I said, as soon as Apostle Ramlov said that, I thought about the Battle of Marathon. They won the victory. They didn't have smartphones. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have beepers. They didn't have phone booths. So they had to they said, okay, we won the battle. We won the battle. Nike, here. Give the message to the king. And the king at that time, you had what was called city-states. So you had a bunch of kings, of small regions of the Greeks at that time, which was Jake. Jake set that whole Hellenization was set up by Jake, not Esau, right? They adopted it. So just like the Romans, the togas and the rosemary branch around their head, leaf or whatever, they got that from the Etruscans, the sons of Japhet. You know, so that Roman kingdom, the way it was set up, was based partially on the sons of Japhet. So anyway, he's running. So the legend is that it was 26 miles, 26 and about a quarter of a mile. Marathon is not exactly 26, it's 26 plus. But think a quarter of a mile, because that's the exact route that the guy took, was 26 plus miles. And when he got there, he said, Nike! Fell down, boom, and they pulled the thing out, and they said, we have defeated the Persians. Hey! But this guy dropped dead. Let's bury him. You know, this, that, and the third. So that's what that means. We were given a message from the Most High, and we run with it. We run with it, okay? It says, then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tables. Like Yeshua used to say, when we give you this message, you Edomites run. No. The prophets are the one that run. The Most High gives us the football. Quarterback throws a pass, you a wide receiver, you catch the ball, and what do? You run with it, right? So it says, write the answer plainly on tablets so that a runner, a courier, can carry the correct message to others. So you can say that we need more warriors because we're losing badly, or we won. So the king of that city-state can relax and he can tell the people, we have won the battle, we have won the battle. The vision is for the vision. This vision is for a future time. We're telling people what's going to happen, but people are scoffing against us because they don't see it happening. That's in 2 Peter 3. It's in 2 Peter 2 and 2 Peter 3. I read both of those chapters, but in 2 Peter 3, the people are questioning, oh, well, wait, since the fathers died and everything is the same. What you guys say? You said that the year 2000 thing. But so it ain't gonna come to, it ain't gonna, you know, we ain't going nowhere. Ain't no missiles gonna come. Because if it was to happen, it would have happened 2000 according to what you guys said. Well, wait a minute. We gave the message. So if you don't take the message, then you're going to get caught out there. It said the vision is for a future time, which is now, right now. That future time is right now. What is it? April 13, 2025. The vision is for a future time. So we've been telling you about the vision for years. It describes the end. You know when One West camps are going to see the MOTB as a mark of the beast, as a microchip, when it actually comes. But we've been telling you that for years, which proves that we the prophets. And if it doesn't come to pass, guess what? Then you can call us false prophets. It will be fulfilled. If it seems slow and coming, wait patiently, for it surely will take place. It will not be delayed. So the king of the city-state, he was worried. I don't know, the Persians are far more bigger in number than we are, you know? And then to hear that we beat a stronger power, because what was happening? Why was the Greeks beating a stronger, larger, more experienced army? Because the Most High said, time and chance happeneth to all men. The writing was on the wall for the Medo-Persian Empire to go down and for the Greeks to come in. Then the Greeks ruled for some time. Then the Romans came in. Then Jake took over the Roman Empire. Then Jake went down. Jake didn't believe that they were going to slavery under no Edomite. And they went. We in slavery to this day. We are in today we are in, how's it going in the Baruch in captivity. I don't got to go through it. I'm just merely paraphrasing. So let's come on back. Let's go.
Into it or run away from it. And, you know, that's the bottom line. Go ahead.
It says, for the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
So let's recap. The message was given to us through dreams, through visions, through our eyes being open, our pineal gland, gland be open, our third eye, so to speak, our spiritual eye, the inner you. And so we got the message, and we got to tell people. But Ezekiel 3, 2 and 3. You're going to tell these people, you're going to give them the message, you're going to run with the message, and they're going to say, man, shut the hell up. Ain't nothing going to happen to us. And if the white man can't make it, I don't want to make it. Okay, good. You're not going to make it, along with your buddy.
And that's the point. You know, we're at the point now where it's actually speaking. You know, at one time it was written. Well, actually, at one time, the vision was shown to the prophets. You know, in this case, Prophet Habakkuk. Then, you know, he wrote it down. And after he wrote it down, it remained unto the time, you know, when it had to speak again. You know.
Yeah, because after he was told that for Terry, wait for it, it shall surely come. You're going to be a courier. You're going to pull out the run with. You get the message. You're going to run with it. Then he sees these things and he writes them down, the destruction and so forth, as you read down to like from the 4th verse on down to the end. That goes along with the 1st chapter, 3rd chapter, and so forth, and the other prophecies. And none of these prophets, I said this before, and I'll continue to say it. None of the prophecies in the ancient world, when they saw these visions, wrote them down, they didn't understand what is this? I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm just seeing shit, visions, and I'm writing it down, and I can't make it. And then the angel said, well, it means this and it means that. He said, I still don't understand what's going on. We fully understand what's going on. We understand. See, you'll never hear a member in GMS say, oh, we can be here for another 1,000 years. That's something a false prophet would say. Scripture say
at the time when it would have to be fulfilled. And that's what we're, you know, dealing with right now, the time of the fulfillment of prophecy as it's speaking. And then, you know, once you read that verse, go to
Okay. Yep, it says, for the vision is yet
if you want to say something.
Yeah, the vision basically was sealed into the time of the end. And now the vision has been opened and able to interpret through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. But this will only be done at the end. This is another sign of we're at the end time prophecy.
Yeah, you know you're gonna have to get Daniel.
All right, I was there.
All right, bring it out.
Kind. It says, this is Daniel 12. It said, and
4, I believe it is.
you want 4? Okay.
Is that the main point?
Yeah. It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book.
Right. So shut up the words and seal the book. So the book was sealed. So now when Yahushua came 2,000 years ago, he broke those seals, but there were still certain things that were not fully understood even back then. But Yahushua knew about everything that we see now, everything that we're experiencing. He knew about all of that. Remember what he told the disciples. He said, you know, there are things that I, you know, desire to tell you, but you're not, in so many words, you're not ready for it yet. You know, so there was many things that Yahushua knew about that he couldn't share, you know, with his disciples because they weren't on the level at that point, you know. Go ahead.
It says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end.
Right, even to the time of the end. And this is where we're at. We're in the end times. You know, and these end times, many things have been revealed. And part of the destruction and collapse of an empire is the revelation of the wicked things going on within that empire and the sentencing that's put upon them by the words of the Lord, and then the judgment. For instance, you have the Neo-Babylonian Empire, which you had stand-in king, for lack of better words, or the forget what they call it, something regent. He was, which his name was Belshazzar. He was the son of Nabonidus. Now Nabonidus was the actual king of Babylon at the time, but he was out fighting different wars. And at one time he was imprisoned like 10 years or something like that.
He must have been going into that history, you know, so I don't know all about that. You know, sometimes you go into the history of these different, like for example, 2nd Ezra 11, 2nd Ezra 12, we kind of give names to it. This is this guy, this is that guy, this is this Caesar, that's that Caesar. But sometimes you got to go a little deeper into it to get more, and you can do that, you know.
This is in the history. Of course, the scriptures don't really speak about Nabonidus too much. They really focus more on his son Belshazzar. That was a vice regent. That's what it's called. He was a vice regent, so he was given the charge over the realm while his father was out fighting wars. And when he had the audacity to call for the goblets and the cups and stuff of the Lord, it's like, okay, this is it. Now it's time to judge him. So at that particular time, that was the appointed time for the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Today, we're at the point where we're seeing the total collapse of this American Edomite empire, because this was their appointed time.
Yeah, because when this man, you got to go back into the history. This time, when the handwriting was on the wall, he was supposed to be the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. He's supposed to be the grandson. So Apostle Ramlab is saying he wasn't the top leader. You had similar to Titus and Vespasian. Titus was the king. His son was a general, but he was like a front general. He's a great guy, but it was actually a Jake that was really in charge over that war when they were coming against Alexander. I always forget his name. Alexander. I forget his other two names, but one of them is Julius Alexander. There's another that starts with a P. I always forget it. Julius Alexander something. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. I don't need this anymore. Julius Alexander, 70 AD. Okay, what came up? Let me get my bearings straight. All right, Julius. Okay, siege of Jerusalem. And I ain't gonna tell you his name. Give me a second. Let me do it this way. Bear me for a minute. I'm sorry. I just want to get his full name. I always forget it. Tiberius. I don't know. I was thinking about T. Tiberius Julius Alexander. He was the real general that led the armies against Israel, the Israelites, during the time period of 70 AD. Titus was the front man. He got all the credit. In 70 AD, he participated in the siege of Jerusalem as Titus second in command. Right, as Titus second in command, but he was really running it. He was an experienced general. He became the most powerful Jew of his age. He was an Israelite that was a sellout. He killing his own people, and his rank as one of the most prominent Israelites in military history. So he was raised up in a family of Israelites in Alexandria, Egypt, and he was so impressed by the Romans and so forth that he said, "I'm gonna move up in rank." He sold out to his people. That's all I wanted to go into. Let's go back.
And now we see the decay.
Yep.
If you want to say anything.
Because it says in what is that, Job the 14th chapter, how the Lord has set a bounds that he cannot pass. So there's a particular moment, second.
That's why the Persians went down by the Greeks. The Persians it was considered, somebody said this, there's a quote, semi-famous quote, that Alexander said he's going to go head to head with the Persians, he's going to defeat them. And he had visions too. He had dreams about it. So the Lord was with him at that time. And they were saying that something wrong with you. You can't defeat them. Their army is too great. But the Most High was with him. And he knew that the Most High was with him because he had the dream of the high priest in the white, and he had the priest behind this guy. And he said, "I saw you in my dream." And the priest in the dream, I forget his name, from the tribe of Judah. I did a video. I went into detail on it years ago. And he sat down with him. He showed him who he was in Daniel. He said in the book of Daniel, the 8th chapter, the he-goat, that's you. Then he went into Daniel 7. He showed him where he's at in Daniel 7. He showed him in the scriptures who he was. And his father kind of hated him for it because his father wanted to fulfill that prophecy, but it came through his son. So there's a lot of when you really go into these scriptures and you dig into these scriptures, there's a lot of history there. But you just touched some of the history.
Saul is appointed to rule, and after.
Or another thing, Alexander the Greek knew how to read, write, and speak Hebrew, and he used to study the scriptures. He used to study the law, even though behind the scenes he was getting it in with his boys, but he was trying to be an Israelite, and because he feared them, and he didn't. When you go into history, the only people, when you take over people, you tax them, which is a form of which is tribute. The only ones he didn't put tribute on, tax them, was the Israelites, and the other nations hated that. He was kissing their asses because there's whole history in that.
After that, that's it. He won't be able to rule 1 millisecond more, right?
That's right. That's right.
It says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased."
Right, and knowledge shall be increased, and that's what we see right now through this tech age, which nobody back then knew about the tech age.
Yeah.
The tech age didn't exist back then. The tech age back then would be, gunpowder. They figured out how to use gunpowder. They figured out how to make guns. Another high tech would be the crossbow.
Yeah.
Instead of using the regular bow and arrow, they figured out how to use the crossbow. When they invented the catapults, which go way back, there was like different dynamics and technology that was prevalent in certain empires. You want to say something?
No.
But nothing like this has been the most backwards, the most wicked, but yet the most advanced empire technology-wise.
Yep.
Yeah,
and this is why Esau is so proud, because he has a level of technology that no other nation can't even close to. To technology where he can go to the heavens. Right. Technology to where he can shoot fire down from the heavens, basically.
That's right.
And no other nation was able to do that. The only time you will see something like that is from the Most High.
Yep.
So he's in that, he got that God complex, because he has this power that the Most High has given him. I'm gonna go back to Habakkuk.
Yeah. So pretty much that technology that was given to him was ancient technology that the Most High had, that the Most High possesses. He just gave him the ability to tap in.
Yeah, he tapped in.
He tapped in because of the Lord technology.
Yep.
You know, the idea of flight is not anything new, but the ability to do it, you know, with these planes, go back to what is Kitty Hawk, you know, when in the early 1900s, when they first started, you know, first the prototype of the air, you know, it went from that to these big ass jets. They even got to the, you know, moving at what, hypersonic speed or whatever that was, you know.
Yeah, which shows you that we are at the end. That's another indicator. That's another indicator of prophecy to let us know. Because, like Yahushua said, there should be wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, stuff like that. You have scoffers say, well, that, you know, that's been going on.
Right.
Yeah, the Concorde was able to go to speed of sound. Was it supersonic? I think it's called. Let me see something. The supersonic Concorde plane. The supersonic Concorde plane. Right, speed of sound, and that's fast. Let me see, supersonic, meaning supersonic. Right, supersonic flight refers to speeds exceeding the speed of sound, faster than the speed of sound. Sonic meaning sound, so it's faster than the speed of sound. That's fast.
And you're right, but not to the level of what it is now.
That's right.
As well with the added technology of the MOTB that John the Revelator saw.
That's it.
No other nation was able to do that, or had, like the Babylonians wanted to do that. Well, they had the statue, right? They wanted you to bow down and worship when the music played.
Yep.
But they didn't have the full technology to implement that with total control.
That's it.
That is fulfilled in this time, where knowledge shall increase.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So I'm gonna go back to,
and that's the key word.
Yeah, the statue that was built by the Babylonian king. When you heard the sound of this sukkbet, however you say it, and the various instruments was played, you had to bow down. So, you know, Daniel and other believers, mainly the three boys, the Babylonian, whatever you want to call them, their Babylonian names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but they had Hebrew names. That whole big thing of them being punished because they didn't bow down. So it's going to be similar to this MOTB. You don't take the MOTB, you're not going to be able to eat.
Total control. And that's the reason why, because they know as long as people have something to eat, place to live, lay their head down, clothing on their back, have, you know, family or whatever, they're not too worried about anything. But if you strip that from them and not allow them to get it, those necessities, they start freaking out. Like right now, we was watching the video, which I saw the thumbnail. Elder Pastor spoke about it. Elder Mawatazak did a video, I believe, on the same subject, but I actually saw the little, like 6 minute and 41 second video of this woman speaking about the subsidies being cut, you know, from the farmers and the EBT and the SNAP and all that, that Trump is doing. So that's going to cause panic, because not only among Jake, but also among Esau, they're going to freak out because they're the ones that get the most benefits from the welfare. You want to say something?
Yeah, it was the vintage shall fail.
Beautiful.
You know, we're in a point where all these subsidies, all these goodies, all these amenities are going to be cut, and that is pretty much the collapse of this system to bring in that digital system of control that John the Revelator saw, which was fulfilled in the MOTB system.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we're at. And
IUIC and IUCPK and the rest of you guys, you better get with the program, because you're going to have a lot of explaining to do to your people when they bug out.
And that's an indicator that we are in end times. Yep. Okay, because even the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai has increased.
That's it.
And like the Apostle Elder Gabar says, the internet does the heavy lifting. This is how we were able to receive this word in such hypersonic speed,
right, and
get the understanding so quickly. That was all part of the Most High.
Not go to Kenya and Smyrna and Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands and Nigeria and all these other places.
Speeding the time up for the elect's sake.
There you go.
So I'm back in
And then the way that they set the system up and setting it up is to the point where, if you don't comply, you will be denied. The lesson, if you don't comply, you will be denied.
That's it. This is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For vision is yet for a time, but that I'll speak and not lie.
And that's what we see happening right now, because the Most High is not a man that he should lie. He said his words don't go out void. So if his words don't go out void, that means that he's going to accomplish everything that he said in the scriptures, whether you believe it or not. The Lord's concern is not if you believe it or not. The Lord's concern is, look, I told you to do something, do it. Because I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain. You better hold up your end of the bargain.
That's it.
He said, I forgot what prophet he told it, be not rebellious, I believe Ezekiel. Right? Be not rebellious as this rebellious house.
Yep, that's it.
Because they're going to...
Open my mouth, open thy mouth and eat thy words that I give thee. So like, I just want to
No, beautiful. And that was the bottom, just tell them anyway. So it doesn't matter if they accept it or believe it or not. The Lord ain't concerned with that. That's why we're not concerned with that. We're not concerned who'll get it, who not, because we're just out there to teach this word, and we know that once the elect hear it, the Lord will seal them. We're not flabbergasted and all upset because we're teaching the word and a lot of jakes ain't getting it. We're not concerned with that. The Lord knows who his elect are. The Lord knows who's going to receive this word, who's going to accept it, who's going to reject it. So our concern is not who's going to receive it or reject it. Our concern is to just go ahead and teach it, speak it, and let the Lord do his work. Let the Lord do his marvelous work.
Bring this out. Okay. 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord.
Right, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. What did Yahushua say? When you are brought into a situation, right? Back then it was being brought before governors and the Gentiles and and these different leaders back then. Take no thought what you shall speak. Don't even think about it. That's why sometimes you throw yourself at the mercies of the Lord, in spirit, and just pray to the Lord. Say, Lord, give us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Work with our minds, work with our spirits, that we may be able to do this lesson to feed thy sheep and thy lambs. And then let the Lord do his thing. Let the Lord work. So Yahweh said, take no thought what you shall say, because it shall be given to you what you shall speak in that same hour. For it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Heavenly Father that speaketh in you.
That's it.
That's why he got upset with Moses. Because Moses said, Lord, I am not an eloquent speaker, But the Lord said, look, don't worry about that. I got you. I said, all right. He said, all right, so, Aaron's going to be your mouthpiece.
Yeah.
All right, don't worry about it. Just do what I tell you to do. Because he was going to give Moses what to say. He's going to give his prophets what to say, how to say it, when to say it. Because at the end of the day, this is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's program.
That's why we're constantly doing videos. That's why we're constantly going back. You got the comment section. You got the chat over here. Then you got the comment section down below. So there's really 3 classes going on. You got this class, and you got this class, Then you got a third class. When I say class, like classroom classes. So, you know, if people from Kenya come to this page, they can watch it. You know, Nate said, oh, you got to go to them face to face. You got to hear what they say. You got to be right there. Well, wait a minute. There's got to be, let's say, 3 billion Israelites on the planet. How the fuck you gonna go? How you gonna go face? You got to be face to face with 3 billion people. When you only got, y'all say y'all got 10,000. With a million Israelites, you can't you can't do that. So what thing does the heavy lifting? The computer, the PC, the internet, the YouTube, and the so forth. And if the YouTube backed up, you got Rumble, you got Odyssey, you got all these you got all these different platforms that you can use. The main platform, they said the other day, they said if they were able to put a price on YouTube and sell it as a whole, the thing would be worth I think they said $500 billion, something like that. It was either 5 billion. I believe they said 500 billion. It could have been 5 billion. And that's why you got all these commercials. This man, people watch YouTube or TikTok or whatever more than, and that whole thing about China and TikTok and we got to do. Trump just wanted to get part of the company, you know.
And a lot of these false prophets are acting like this is their program. You see, they're doing things according to how they.
Like Nate. Nate just says something, and them zombies receive it, man. They got all fucked up, rocks thrown on them, and then he was talking about if you listen to what he did last night. He said you might be asking where was I, because we were asking that. I was getting ready to do a video interview, and he said I wanted to go out there when I heard. I said, you didn't want to go nowhere, bro. So you can get hit with a rock. Your ass can't run, cause you're old. I can run, nigga. You catch a heart attack.
They feel it should run according to their so-called needs or whatever the case may be. But that's okay.
Yeah, y'all gotta listen to last night's class of Nate. We catch it at the end of camp, so it might be 7 o'clock, 7-ish, 7:30-ish. So we listened to it coming back. And I said, oh, he gonna start talking. And sure enough, he got so mad. He said, GMS and Tahar, and why didn't Tahar do this? And ISU, and he calls me UPK. He said, them are black Hebrew Israelites. And they're all gonna burn in hell. First of all, there's no such thing as hell. Who taught you that? What demon taught you that? So we know you're not a prophet as it stands.
They too. Because it has to go down that way.
Yep.
You have to remember that every scripture must be fulfilled. You have to have, the true prophets. You have to have the false prophets.
Yep.
And like Elder Apostle Gabar always says, there are more false prophets than there are true prophets. Mm-hmm. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, just kind of going back to what, just fall into the hands of Yahweh Shemashai, to receiving the Spirit, because the Most High that, He gives us the words to speak. He gives us the lessons, the inspiration. We read in Habakkuk, I will stand upon my watch and I will wait to see what he will say unto me. Because at that very moment, the Most High is going to work with your mouth to speak the words that he wants to come out.
Right.
And likewise with the false prophets, they can do nothing. They can do nothing of their own as well. That's the lying spirit that the Most High put in the mouths of the false prophets too. Yes, so everything that's going down, the Most High is writing off on it, whether it be good or whether it be evil, whether it be a false prophecy or whether it be the right thing to say.
Beautiful. Hey, he said, if a prophet be deceived, I, the Lord, power have deceived them. So you're gonna have that, and then you're gonna have false prophets telling false prophecies, and then you're also gonna have, those people out there, those Israelites out there, that were given over to those false prophets.
Yep.
As their blind leaders,
which is called a stumbling block. Most High said if there's a stumbling block put before you, it's in Ezekiel, that the Most High put that stumbling block. If there's a prophet that has been deceived, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh, do all these things. So did he create Moses? Yes, he did.
They're blind to be destroyed. Just like you have the true prophets, and then you also have the true elect that's going to hear the word and be guided through the Spirit.
Yep, verse 2, it says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination.
They are faithful and true. Remember, in Peter's, we have a more sure word of prophecy. And the Lord spoke to Daniel and told him that the vision is certain. You know, it's not something that's going to, well, maybe if, you know. No, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
Yeah, and this is why we speak with so much boldness, because we believe the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, and that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And we have the spiritual, the spiritual eye, you can say, to be able to see that this is actually what's going on. We're literally living in the where all the prophecies are getting ready to unfold right now before our eyes.
That's right.
As far as end time prophecies.
Yeah, and we see them actually unfolding. You know, we see it being, you know, the package. You know how you have those things where people open up a package. You know, they say unpacking whatever, the Hewlett Packard or this particular computer or this particular iPad. Well, the Lord is unpacking his prophecies right before our eyes.
Yep, they're speaking, as we read in Habakkuk.
That's it.
You know, they're speaking loud and clear. And well, Yahweh Shai also, what did he always used to say? He that have ears that hear, let him hear.
Yeah.
So the prophets' ears are fine-tuned to that particular frequency of prophecy, and able to understand and interpret it, and then also to go out and teach as well. Okay, so let me just read this last verse here, 2 Ezra 15:3. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
That's right.
For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
Right. So the bottom line is the Lord said the fearful and the unbelieving and all that, they shall have their part in the lake of fire. So don't worry if people ain't listening. Don't worry if they're not being gathered. Because like the Lord told Isaiah.
And they said that we're going to wind up in a lake of fire. ISU became IUS. GMS going to wind up in a lake of fire. And when he says that, he's talking about the spiritual fire that burns forever, that Roman Catholic fire. He's coming, he's a black Roman Catholic. So he wants us to burn. That's a hatred.
He even mentioned it in the letters of the Apostle Paul. If you teach and Jake is not gathered, guess what? You're still going to receive your reward. You know, because you.
Let me get that. Matter of fact, I'll get that in the NLT. Bring that out in the NLT. First Corinthians chapter 3. Start at this whole chapter is good. If any man's work abide which he have built thereupon, he shall receive reward. If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. The fruit that come in, if you bring in X amount of fruit and they all fall out through the years, you get a reward for the fruit that stays. But if every one of your fruits left, you're still going to get salvation. That's going to be your reward, salvation. So it's not a numbers game, because this is the Most High. This is the Most High's movie any damn way. So let's go to the NLT. This is the 14th verse. Verse 14. If the work survive, that builder will receive a reward. But if the work is burnt up, that builder will suffer great loss. The builder will be saved, but like someone barely escaping through a wall of flames. Right, the righteous will scarcely make it. See, they added to this. It says if you bring in fruit and they all fall off, you're still going to be delivered because of the fact that you were a prophet. Some prophets are bringing more than others, more fruit. Some 30-fold, some 60, some 100-fold, right? But they're all going to be delivered. Or should I say delivered?
Did what the Lord told you to do. He said, blessed is that servant when his Lord cometh shall find so doing. Doing what? Doing what the Lord commanded. If you love me, keep my commandments, right? But one of the main commandments of the Lord is, he told Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep and feed my lambs.
So I'm back in Habakkuk. Let me finish this. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Right, because the Lord is going to make it happen. You know, it seemed like it's taking a while, but it's because the Most High's time is different from our time. See, he's not constricted to a time frame like we are, although, you know, he said he's not going to go against his word. You know, so he's bound by his word. You know, but we, you know, time to us moves a lot slower than it does for Yahweh, B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? So when you see all these things happening, what did Yahweh Shai say? Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. Yeah. And do everything that the Lord said for us to do, that you may be able to escape these nations and destruction that's coming.
Yeah. Because something that was spoken, before time, it's already set, it's already certain. So it's going to come. Beautiful. So it's whether you're going to get in line with Yahweh Shema Shai, not Yahweh Shema Shai get in line with your time. We on.
Let me go here now.
You better run as fast as you can. I'm gonna get you. You better hide till you can't hide no more. I'm gonna find you. Yeah, they was on the back foot, mate, and he wasn't even there. Bishop Nate wasn't even there, out on the streets amongst them.
Yeah, he was conducting an interview, and he said he wanted to be there. When he found out, he said, "Don't hold me back. I want to go there. I want to deal with them." What he said, you watched him from last night. He said that they were in front of a market, and the church was 3 blocks up. And the church, they've been out there a couple of times, so the church was ready for him when he came out that time. And they were all them people that was in front. They were saying fire, fire, fire. And these clowns thought they was talking about what y'all speaking is fire. Nigga, that ain't New York. That's Kenya. And then they had bottles of water with piss in it. This is what Nate said. So watch what Nate said last night. You can watch the last hour and a half, or whatever. He gets into it about the last hour. And at first they started throwing piss at these guys, and they were like, they said they stayed there. Then they started throwing small rocks, and they stayed there. Then they started throwing big rocks and throwing tear gas canisters at them. That's when they started to run. That's when they figured it out. It took you that long to figure that shit out? That they don't want you there? You should have got the lesson from the church when they pulled out 9s on you and tried to beat you with shoes. Then they found out, I don't know how they found out, that the police was working with the church. Maybe the church paid them police off. But you got your ass beat because you got early warning sign. You got water thrown on you, water and piss thrown on you, piss thrown on you, yellow water, which is piss, small rocks, and then big rocks, and then tear gas canisters. Oh my goodness, we better get the hell up out of here.
to receive the tear gas. So that was a rookie move, a complete rookie move. And instead of accepting that,
you shouldn't have been out there in Kenya in the first place. And like Lahab said many years ago, he said, "Nigga, what you doing out there?"
Made a bad move there. He's now turned, because we've chastised him and rebuked him for that rookie move. He's now gone right back to the old playbook by referring to us as the black Hebrew Israelites and that we don't know this and we don't know that. And when everything that if this guy changes, he's the doctrine of the IUIC, right, gets changed probably even more than their underwears. They probably changed their doctrine more than their underwear, the leadership at IUIC. Are they kidding me? There's so many videos I could put up to show you of this guy changing his doctrine, changing his idea of what the mark of the beast is. One minute the mark of the beast was big countries trading and small countries trading. The next minute it's the mark of the beast is sin.
Fort Jesus right there. And they took the slaves. Let's follow the line, follow the tattered line, IT. Actually, you know, GMS might have a little more sense than UPK. That UPK is the worst. That's the most uneducated.
Well, oh, wait a minute. They gave us a compliment. Hold up now. Hey, this, oh man, he don't like. Dog, we curse you out worse than let me hear that again. Did y'all catch that? GMS got a lot more sense than I use UPK.
Fort Jesus right there. And they took the slaves. Let's follow the line, follow the tattered line, IT. Actually, you know, GMS might have a little more sense than UPK. That UPK is the worst. That's the most uneducated group you will ever meet. And they pride themselves on being fat and stupid. There you go. So you got the Arabian Peninsula, Iraq. Look.
You know, I kind of hope your black ass. I kind of hope your black ass is one of the elect you come out of it, so we can laugh at you, and mock you, and pat you on the back and say you be all right, you know. So he got a little sense. He had a little sense.
Look at all the dollars where he took us. India, Goa, Bengali. What's that, Malacca?
So I wonder if he's going to go to India, Bengali, Morocco, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan.
The Himalayan mountains, the moon. You might have Israelites on the moon. You might get on a rocket ship, go to the moon. You might have Israelites up there, man.
Iraq. Is he going to go to all of those places to seek out the Israelites? It's a rookie move that outfit made, and they continue to make more rookie moves. And all we can do is just watch them. It's like self-destruction what they're doing.
Well, we're watching a sinking ship. That's all we're doing. And the captain is trying to find a way to keep this, to get the ship to come. The ship is sinking, bro. You know. The motherfucking the band then folded up the chairs and put their drums away and shit, and you know, rewound up their wires and shit. You know, we off of this bitch.
Up above that, I can't pronounce Liguine. Look, China. They took us as slaves to China.
I wonder if he's gonna go to China.
And China is a big place. China is a big goddamn place. What does it say in Matthew 10? Around about the 25th verse. I'm gonna merely paraphrase and say, you shall not go over all the cities until I become, meaning you're not going to hit every Israelite. So why jump over here to the other side of the earth where the important, and I have a list, and I went through this list, I was looking at it, and all these scriptures that I got put together point to America. You're supposed to be in America, man. You're spreading yourself too thin.
As well. Is he going to send these men to China? So this is...
He don't got enough men to send them any goddamn way. He ain't got enough men to send them to America. Have you hit every corner in America?
Madness. We know that we are scattered and mixed amongst all the nations. We're scattered to the four corners of the world. We have no idea what the numbers are concerning the Israelites in those places and how many of those would be considered the elect. But we do know one thing. If the Lord wants them to receive this,
there's supposed to be 9 billion people on the planet. Close to 9 billion, if not 9 billion. There's got to be, so we're going to be as a sand to sea. So we're talking about there's got to be at least 4 billion people. You can't hit 4 billion Israelites with 10,000 men.
Word, they will receive it through the unicorn, through the internet. That they will receive the word through the...
They will receive it through the unicorn, which is the internet. And none of you camps know about that except GMS.
The one is like the scripture says, that it will do the heavy lifting. That will do the heavy lifting. The internet is going to do the heavy lifting. Is he going to go to all of these places, right, and send his men to preach the word, to be persecuted? It's total madness. So when you call them out for their absolute rookie moves that they do, they turn on you and start. As I said, they can't come against us when it comes to the scriptures, as we can come against them when it comes to the scriptures, because they're never preaching. They continue to change their doctrine and they continue to go off, and it's as clear as day that the IUIC are going off in their doctrine. They can only come on us with slandering, name calling, all this madness that they do, because it's a massive big show for them what they're doing at the IUIC. It's an entertainment show. They're selling this, they're selling themselves. This is the only way they can survive. They can't survive on preaching the word. Just go out there and preach the word in season, out of season. They can't do that. It's a massive PR stunt. So let's use our PR machine to come against these, what they call black Hebrew Israelites. Because we can't come against the GMS.
Oh, we're black Hebrew Israelites. IUCPK black Hebrew Israelites. The IUIC are Israelites. Oh, but Jesus, the black Jesus, is the black Messiah. So if he's a black Messiah, he's an Israelite. Wouldn't that make Jesus the black? Wouldn't he be a black Israelite? No, he's not a black Israelite. He's an Israelite, but he happens to be the black Messiah. Does that make sense, Nate? Does that make sense? Come on now.
When it comes to the doctrine, oh no, because they know for a fact we got the 100% truth. They even had the audacity to compare themselves to Stephen and the Apostle Paul, saying, oh, they were persecuted like them.
No, Stephen knew the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. He knew the name, okay? The Apostle Paul knew the name of Yahweh Shah. They knew the names. You know the name, but you refuse to call on the name.
Mad.
I think last night he even mentioned Yahweh. In jest, he mentioned Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
It's absolute madness.
Ask China. And when you read in the book of Esdras, it tells you that when China was through with us, they murdered us. That's why you could barely find our people there. Barely. Lower it. How do you say that? Surabaya. So these are places where our people were put and are still, many of them are still in these areas today. So guess what, brothers? We gotta go. If the Lord allows, open up that door. We got to go.
This guy's a fucking idiot. He's an idiot. He's gonna go to this place that I never heard of this place. They might cook you and eat you. You haven't covered all of New York State. Hell, you haven't covered all of New York City. Did you cover every part in New York City? The Bronx? Have you ever covered every corner of the Bronx? So why in the fuck would you take a plane? And that's why the scriptures say what it says about the love of money. You got that money and you do foolish things with it. Give me a second. Love of money, Money. 1 Timothy 6 verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while men coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. See, that you had all that money to go to Africa, to Kenya, and you pierced yourself through with many sorrows, meaning they started throwing piss on you and rocks and tear gas and all that. You found out the cops, they were smiling at you, but they were making a deal with the church. And you said that they gave them canisters to throw at y'all. Some of y'all could have got killed. Some of y'all got your heads open up. But thou, old man, fight the good fights. I give thee charge. The commission to keep. Let me do this. Right. It says, in having food and remnant, let us be there with content. But they which will be rich fall into temptation and snares, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. The perdition means destruction. So y'all almost got killed out there. So for you to go and they, yeah, we're going to this, whatever the place name, we're going to go to that place. They might cook you and eat you. I ain't never heard this place, man. This is an island off of China. Surabaya. Now you got to find somebody from Surabaya that speaks that particular language. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, man. This is what you call a delusions of grandeur. Let's look that up. Delusion of grandeur. What does that mean? Let's see if the little lady speaks. A delusion of grandeur. Also, he got the crown with the cape. That's why he's not wearing purple. Known as a grandiose delusion. Right. Natives suffering from a thing called a grandiose delusion. Grandiose delusion is a false belief in one's own greatness, importance, or special powers. Individuals experiencing this type of delusion, delusions, Mr. Wordsworth, delusions, may believe they are famous, have extraordinary abilities, or are destined for greatness, even when there's no evidence to support these beliefs. There you go. Let me go to images. Look at that. That's Nate right there. There's a cat. There's a cat. There's a cat thinking he's a lion, and you got this is Yuri. Nah, I'm messing with you, Yuri. We like Yuri. We like him. He's a good reader. But that's Asaph. He got the crown, Nate. They're just having a little fun with it. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little fun. Yep. Bigger than what you are, you know? Delusions of grandeur. What's the term? I like this term, this new term. Grandiose delusions. Grandiose delusions.
To hell with the BHI. To hell with the black Hebrew Israelites. To hell with them. To hell.
We're black. They're Israelites. We're black Israelites. The hell with them. But why, out of all the places on the world, why would you go to a place where I never heard of? You know? What does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense, man. It's called you're spreading yourself too goddamn thin. And these fools follow him. This guy is Ahab from the story, the book Moby Dick. Ahab from Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. Matter of fact, let me do this, because I know y'all didn't read the book. What ultimately happened to Captain Ahab? How did Ahab die? Ahab is killed when, in line with a prophecy told to him by another crew member, he is caught up in the rope of his harpoon and dragged into the ocean by Moby Dick. Because his thing was, let me read this. Captain Ahab is ultimately killed. His obsessive pursuit of the white whale, Moby Dick, leads to his own demise. After a 3-day chase, Ahab is pulled under the sea and drowned, with his entire crew following shortly after. This tragic end is a result of Ahab's unwavering obsession and his failure to recognize the power of nature. So, hey, we got a new nickname for Nate. We're going to call him Captain Ahab. Ahab said, I got to get that white shark. And what wound up happening? He wound up dying, and his crew wound up, because his crew was blindly following this guy. So let's come on back. So Captain Ahab, slow it down, man. Slow it down.
What is this? Give me Deuteronomy 28:68, please.
Dude, that's pride. That's pride. You go. You go, mate. You go to China.
Look at all this gold. That's not brass. That's real gold. How much is that? We talking about it, I don't know, anywhere from, I would say $800, $1,000. What I read in 1 Timothy 6 about money. You ain't gonna see me with a ring on my finger. You ain't gonna see me with a bracelet or nothing like that. Look, when I get clothes or sneakers or shoes, I go to the Burlington Coat Factory, where it's cheap as hell. And I say it proudly. I'll get a pair of sneakers. The last sneakers I got, I wasn't even going there to get sneakers, right? The last pair of sneakers I got was the the new style Pumas. And I said, oh, these are nice. And I picked up, see what size they had, and I tried them off. I said, oh, these fit nice. I said, how much are they? I said, they were $29. So I said, I'm going to get these. And later I went home. I went to the web to find out what the actual price is. That pair of sneakers, sneaker sneakers was about $100, depending. Like if you went to the DSW discount shoe warehouse, I believe it was like $50. But on the web, you can get it for about $70, $80, or even $100. So I said, why am I going to spend $100 for a pair of kicks where I can get them for $30? So yeah, I'm very frugal.
To Surabaya, you go. Because I'm telling you, at some point, some of your men ain't going to make it back.
Wait a minute. I said this a couple of times. I said, you're going to go somewhere, and you're going to go with 30 guys, and you're going to come back with 15. You be careful out there, man. People will actually kill you. I don't wish death on none of y'all, but y'all are playing with fire for real. For real.
You go to China. I want to see you go to China and talk about you're going to stand up in the corner. You're preaching. You're not preaching Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You're preaching white Jesus. You go. It's a fool's errand. So anyway, I just want to bring out a couple of scriptures, man. I'm just going to say that they completely. The scripture says, "How long will you simple ones love simplicity, man? Seriously, man." Let's just bring out a couple scriptures, all right? I'm not really going to spend long on this, man, because You don't need to, man, when it comes to these guys, truly. Proverbs, what do I want? Proverbs chapter 12. Proverbs chapter 12. Let me just switch the screen for you. Yeah. I want to see the IUIC go to China. Somebody stand up there. That's why they were kicked out of that place. That's why they were stoned and tear gassed and everything. They had to run for their lives. They literally had to run for their lives. Completely run for their lives. Let's get scripture.
Anyway, with that, you can watch the rest of this. I'm going to say shalom. On to the next. Shalom.